as you say, Hindus are not being represented, neither externally nor internally, and we aren't there yet. What steps could we take to be getting there? Because a platform like this media channel, for example, is a fantastic platform for people to hear other Hindus speak. Because you're right, we do not have an electoral system, we don't have accountability. How can we actually move forward in a productive way from here?
This is going to be the challenge in front of us. And I think it's a challenge that a group of people have now decided has to be addressed. We're hoping that the organizations will look at this issue and themselves decide that this is so important for us. You've mentioned the beheadings of Ganeyalal. There are so many incidences. The Hindu community has been, shall we say, the target of genocide for almost 1,200 years. It's the longest running genocide, and the loss of life is running into the hundred of millions. We've been targeted by Abrahamist traditions. We've been targeted by the communist traditions, etc., the anti-religious traditions. And the focus has really been not only to, shall we say, erase our physical presence, the number of people, but also to erase our history. And this is not being taken into account. This conference was exactly the opportunity to address those issues. You know, I was hoping that somebody would stand up and be given a platform to talk about hate speech. You know, the word kufr, unbeliever, infidel, you know, idol worshipper, all of these are actually hate speech. They are tropes which were created to create scorn and contempt for Hindus, and they are present in such volumes and in so many places that it's become normalized. I thought somebody should speak about this at this conference. I was hoping that our leaders would do. Ethnocide, the erasure of our indigenous traditions during colonialism, during the Anglican British occupation of Bharat, of India, that should have been raised at this conference. There were times when it was clear that there was a herd of elephants, you know, in the room, and the traditions were tiptoeing, doing everything possible with bland smiles, but trying to make sure that nobody disturbed that herd of elephants. It was so well curated and manicured that only certain things were given the opportunity to be aired. You know, this was the conference at which the religious abuse of authority should have been spoken about. This was the conference at which the abuse of vulnerable adults and children should have been spoken about. The systemic institutional abuse of young minors should have been spoken about. You know, this was the conference where the conversation should have started about the Church of England and its £10 billion worth of revenues derived from the slave trade, and perhaps some sort of restitution spoken about. This was the conference where the apology that Justin Welby, the Archbishop of Canterbury, made to the indigenous people in Canada for atrocities inflicted upon them. This was a conference where an announcement could have been made of what tangible changes were going to be done and what programs were going to be introduced. There was nothing there. And the list goes on. I was really hoping that somebody would deal with the hugely inadequate and very damaging Open Doors report, which was published by the APPG for Freedom of Religion and Belief, the hosts of this conference. But nobody spoke about it. In that report, they criticized India for its record for the first time, and the evidence was anecdotal. It was another piece of atrocity literature that should have been dealt with at this conference. I could go on. You know, when I got, shall we say, I stepped back and saw a sense of what was going on, it struck me that Hinduphobia, or anti-Hinduism, as I prefer to call it, should have been center stage. That should have been center stage. It's at the heart of healing the Hindu-Christian, British-India relationship, and yet it wasn't spoken about. What it struck me when I stepped back and had a look at it, what I really felt was this was a conference at which the classic white savior Christian identity reared its head from every corner of the globe. It came together, and with that desire to do so much good, that virtue signaling that seems to manifest when these characters get together, it was a government-funded, public-sponsored, evangelical missionary meeting masquerading as an interfaith exercise. And I say that because none of the issues, none of the key issues which cause friction, which cause loss of life, which cause hatred, not a single one of them was addressed directly. And that is a huge problem.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.